I feel like you and I could just chat the entire time anyway, so it's easy.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, because so originally I started an art channel 10 years ago after my first divorce, and went back into art. And that's me not doing art from the age of 16 all the way up to when I was 30 years old. So like 14 years of not doing art or comics or movies and stuff that I absolutely adored and loved, to running this art channel and just getting on social media and getting the stuff out there, and realizing, oh my God, I've done something pretty well here. And I remember the Instagram blew up, and then YouTube blew up, and then I came to a point where, after having my daughter, I was like, I want to slow down a little bit. I want to be able to give a lot more attention to people, because I've realized I've got stuck into this matrix of content. And then my brother 8 years ago moved to Hong Kong. And
oh, right.
Yeah, so he originally moved to Hong Kong 8 years ago. And I mean, in the process, when people move abroad and friends move a bit further away, you lose contact, you lose touch. And we're such a close-knit family that when we used to speak on a weekly basis, it went from being weekly to, every month, and every 2 months, and then you lose that distance. And then we were always talking about movies in the WhatsApp groups. And then it was like, you know what, bro, let's just record our Skype calls and then pop it onto a channel. And we were using my original platform, which was for the art-based stuff. And we were getting, I think, close to like 40,000 views. The subs were going up, and we were getting paid nicely. And then it was like, we started working with like the movie brands and stuff. And it was like, oh, you know what? We're starting to lose like what we originally do. That we lost the art, and then we lost the love for why we love movies and pop culture, because we were just getting stuff in from brands.
Yeah.
And then we went from zero. Last year, we said, let's make a decision. We'll start our own YouTube channel, just talking about everyday life in our movies and pop culture. And that's where the Brothers Geek Out podcast. I mean, we've been doing it for 6 years.
Yeah, that's
6 years. I think going on 6 years. Yeah, it's been going on for 6 years on a separate channel. But I think the last 2 years, we said, all right, let's focus it all onto one channel, but we can have its own social media and stuff like that. So. And that's it. The Brothers Geek Out podcast has continued. I mean, it's been going on 6 years now, and we've had an amazing journey. But we've come to terms with the truths and things we want to put out there in the world, and not just be the yes guys anymore.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying with this movie link that I've been sent. Was there's not a chance in hell I said I'm gonna just review it and give you a 5-star. I will be mean. I will be mean and nasty, but in my own weird and wonderful way. So
no, of course. I mean, we try and swing it in a positive way, and we do that. I don't think I like to bring negativity to anything that we do.
No.
Even though that it fuels the engagement and it fuels the analytics to grow bigger and more engagement on the various apps that we use, but I don't want to promote hate on somebody's work.
That's exactly it. As soon as I read the word small indie studio, I was like, okay, well, I will be reviewing it. I'm not going to say anything nasty, because my mum always taught me, if I don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And I think you and I, when we watched a few of the films, we said like, was it Quantumania the other day? And we both said the same thing. Okay, it's better than Thor: Love and Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, it's not as good as Thor: Love and Thunder for me, but I'll get my balance for it. Yeah, I was saying it was no end game, but it was better than Thor: Love and Thunder. I was like, it's all right, it's enjoyable for the right people. There was so much hate out there for something that was quite good.
I think in the kind of world we live in now, and with all the platforms that we have now, people have forgotten how to conduct themselves. But I think that's what they want. We get true nature from what people come out on when they put their content on these platforms. So it's so difficult, because sometimes here's me thinking, what the hell did I just watch? But then I appreciate the workmanship that goes into something like this. I mean, recently you did a review on The Thing. I adore that movie, and I adore what James Carpenter does. And some of his movies have never made sense.
No.
But his work is just unbeatable. I mean, when you got a guy who does the soundtrack, the editing, the director, the photographer, He's done everything on there on the list, and I can't complain about his workmanship. I mean, he's one of my favorite films is Big Trouble in Little China. I could never see
Amazing.
a remake of that movie,
No,
and it's such a joy to watch, and it has such good rewatchability, and that's what we don't get now in movies. I feel like you'd watch it the once, and there's only like a couple movies that you could watch it a couple of more times, but we've been oversaturated with so much content that they're not rewatchable. I
I,
find it really hard.
I saw someone a while ago say that things have changed. Like one of the big things was there are no action heroes anymore, or no superstars. You don't go to watch a Jack Ryan movie for Tom Cruise necessarily. You watch it because it's a Jack Ryan movie,
That's
and
right.
they can replace that character, and they did with the. I'm trying to think which ones it was, the ghost something, but they changed the character along the way, and you just kept on watching it,
Well,
and and you sort of don't go to the cinema because of the same reasons. But I think you and I, no one's ever going to touch Back to the Future because I'll boycott it. I'll be standing outside. That was my life. If they managed to get Michael J. Fox and I'm just going to call him Dr. Emmett Brown because I can't think Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd.
If they managed to get him back for it, and they'll both do that together. Yes, that's probably the
So
only.
that's like the pinnacle of movies for me. So and I'm lucky enough to get to meet all of them. I can't even. It's blurred out, but
It's blurred
basically,
out. It just looks like there must be a penis on the box. It's just
no, yeah, kind of.
it's.
But it's like Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd signing my favorite pops in the world.
I better point you up here then. So we have artwork. We've got the from the play where I got to go and see
Awesome.
it recently. I went to go and see the musical, and it's
Oh,
pretty
amazing.
much. Oh, by the way, if you get a chance to go and see the musical of it, it's fantastic. It's very, very different
Of
because they
course,
can't
yes.
they can't
They
squeeze
had
it into a show.
No, they can't. They adapted it very well. Hey, good. I'm a visuals guy, so to see what they did with the DeLorean and the graphics oh my
Oh,
god, it was brilliant. Like I never thought I'd watch a musical for Back to the Future and enjoy it so much because they just put a different take on it, which works for
I
theater.
completely agree. Yeah.
Uh,
Did you have you ever seen any of the Secret Cinema?
yes, I went to
Yeah.
Back to the Future. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm waiting for them to do part two because number one, to be honest, number one was when they did Secret Cinema for Back to the Future was
yeah.
probably one of the worst website issues I've ever had to try and book a ticket and try and get it done, and never got the tickets. Luckily, actually, a friend of a friend of a friend said, "Oh, I've got some extra tickets if you want some," and I
Oh
was like, "Oh
no.
my god!" I was like, "Hell yeah, give me them tickets. We want them." Bless her. She hooked us up because she knew people were going to have like trouble trying to get those tickets. But absolutely an amazing experience to be embedded into those scenes.
Being able to walk around Hill Valley is like a childhood thing for me. I broke my leg when I was a teen and I was in cast and I just watched those three films on a loop. That was my,
Amazing,
you know, um,
amazing,
and
amazing.
all of my friends, like partners and stuff, went to go and see it, and they weren't big fans of Back to the Future. So the next Secret Cinema they teased, and my wife said, "I think this is it. They're talking 1950s, 1960s." So I went styled Dirty Dancing. So
Nice.
I've seen Secret Cinema Dirty Dancing, and I carried a watermelon, but it's not quite the same. You know,
No, I mean
turned up
it's a
with a life
different
jacket.
different experience. But when I met Bob Gale as well, like he was at a Comic Con a couple, I think it was a year or two ago, just after COVID kind of calmed down, and he was there at the show, and I just got all my Back to the Future stuff to get signed, and he was like, "I'll never do it. I'll never do it. Never, ever." Like the first question came out is, "Would you ever do a remake?" No, hell no.
No, thank
It
God.
is perfect. They're perfect. They're perfect the way they are. Back to the Future One has a dear place in my heart. I've been very lucky to grow up with a franchise which has a weird story tale in it, but just amazing how it's created the culture of fans that I've met along my journey
Yeah.
on this. So it's absolutely amazing. Absolutely
I
amazing.
I can't think of any other film that I could sit there and watch through and go, "Oh my God, Twin Pines Mall. I get it now." Like
Yeah.
there's so many references along that all the way through. Have you seen the outtakes, the
Yes.
deleted scenes? Damn it, of course you have. Finally, watching the one where his dad is being chloroformed by him whilst knocking him out. It makes sense why he's so broken the next morning and why he overslept. You know, Put it in. Put it in. Those little things, like, yeah, I adore that.
I'm
Those moments
hoping
are still
we
coming
get a
out.
cut where they put Eric Stoltz in it, the original Marty McFly that they had casted. So they've got footage and it's there. And I think when I did ask that question, it goes, the footage is there. It depends what the studio does with it.
I think it might. The darker part of the conversation, you might have to wait until Eric Stoltz isn't around. I
Oh yeah, that's the hard part. But
think
hopefully, what are
30
we on
year
now?
30-year rule,
40,
isn't it?
yeah, something like. Is it 40 years now? Just over
Oh
40 years, I think. Like,
no, it
sorry,
must have
like
been must have
the
been
film 1985 came out. Oh, sorry,
oh
yeah. So
yeah. So I can't believe I couldn't work that out. So like 7 years because I'm born in 1980 because I'm old. So I can
it's all
judge
right, dude.
everything.
I'm an 81 baby, so don't worry, I'm with you.
We're okay.
We're right.
So
We're right.
yeah, it must have been like 86. I was
I think
young, but
so.
it can't have been that
It
young.
came out in 85, but I'm trying to work out. Yeah, so it's probably 38 years old now, 37. Anyway, I'm bad with maths. So I'm not even going to
Me
attempt to
too.
try and do that with
We'll cut
numbers.
this bit out. We didn't try and do maths. Neither of us had a calculator.
It's all right. It's fine. Uh, I mean, guys, we've just kind of jumped right into this, which is what I love about doing a podcast and having a conversation piece. Is we've got No Man's Planet on the channel,
Hi, everyone.
and we've been talking for ages now and following each other on TikTok, and we were coming from the same era of movies. And yes, finally, sorry it's taken so long, but we've got you here now. And we'll probably
I'm
get you on here more often because it's great. Because having a different aspect on movie going and other things, it would be great to kind of collaborate more.
I would love to be here on a regular basis because I think we've already found out we have a bit of a rapport. The fact that we can just bounce off about the 80s and the 90s straight away. And I mean, I'm very jealous of what you've been doing at the moment because my content seems to have become a TikToker. I was meant to be a gamer on here, and then I realized people just wanted to watch me dance around my kitchen. They wanted to watch me, my first ever TikTok says, I will never do a lip sync. I will never, ever be found dancing around my kitchen. And then I got a couple of videos with 5.4 million views of me lip syncing and dancing around my kitchen. Then yeah, it went wrong
It
after that.
happens. It happens. It happens. I said the same thing. I've only rerouted back to the podcast because I was like, you know what? I'm going off track with doing these lip syncs and I don't even know how to dance. Why am I doing this for? This is cringe. My daughter's going to grow up and be like, Dad, why did you do that for?
Yeah, there's a reason I'm No Man's Planet. Nobody else knows that I do this. My wife knows that I do it and's never seen any of them. And I was like, you're not going to either. But like movies, it's the deepest thing in my heart. It can make. I went to go and see that A Man Called Otto,
Mm-hmm.
and I cried. I'm like, that is the effect that film can have. I'm dead
Yes,
inside usually, but I can sit there, I can watch a portrayal of something amazing, and you could feel it was coming because they did the typical comedy. This is making you smile. This is making they're going to break me in a
they're
second,
going to break it then.
and it was just yeah, it was fantastic. Like art as opposed to just film. I really enjoyed that.
I think that's the thing about movie going is that experience as well. Some of us live our day-to-day life and sometimes need to get away to, people do drugs and all sorts and drink and the rest of it. I watch movies and it takes me away from the world, and it's where I connect the most for some reason. It's one of those weird things. Like my dad, my dad worked like 2-3 jobs when I was me and my brothers were young, but we were slapped in front of a VHS player and watched a bunch of 80s movies. I mean, The Predator is like a beloved movie to me. I love those guys.
Yeah.
They're like family to me when I see all of them.
Guys,
Yeah.
I think you and I may have had a similar upbringing. My parents swear I was outside every day of the week, and like, I talk to friends and I can quote every movie ever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I was just put in front of the VHS with my TV with the 4 buttons. Oh god, it's gone past 8 p.m. and we've got snowy static on the TV.
That's right. Yep.
Which nobody watching this knows what on earth we're talking about unless you've got the right audience. My audience is all 40-year-olds.
That's
That's
all
the
right.
one.
I think mine. I think when I checked recently, it's like between the age of 18 and 30. So it's nice that I can appeal to the young lot, but I'm trying to get. Come on, you adults, come help me out, man.
The strangest thing about my followers on TikTok and Twitch and
Mm.
even on YouTube as well now is I've got UK first, then American, then Filipino.
Yeah.
I don't know why I appeal to the Filipino community, but thank you.
Yeah, no, that's the same thing I said. So we found out recently that the podcast has been charting at 109 in South Africa for Apple Podcast.
Wow,
109
I
in
did
Apple
see,
Podcast.
yeah.
And I was like, South Africa. Listen, I'm gonna take that and be proud of that. That there's a bunch of you guys down there that listen to us, and I can't be more grateful. Because like you just don't know where the content's gonna go and where it's gonna blow up. I mean, if it works, then we'll continue doing it for you guys.
Yeah.
So we'll continue, but it's hard because you try and gauge an audience like in the UK because you're from the UK.
Yeah.
But it reaches, I mean, because of the platforms and what the outreach we get now. I mean, it's funny because like we've got Spain, so it was South Africa, Spain, we've got the south of Spain, Portugal, Gibraltar. We've got some really good following there, and then further going into like Bangladesh, India, Hong Kong, and I was like, this is amazing. Like
That's
the world
brilliant.
can listen to us, and they. I mean, mostly then when we do the podcast, me and my brother, it's really we go through the pain and shits we went through for the week, and how our mental health is doing, and how we're getting through. And then we talk about movies and stuff after. But the main part, I think, which is starting to connect with more people, is that we talk about our lives, our struggles, and what we go through, and how we keep each other intact.
Yeah.
Like, that plays a big part, and it helps me because when we originally started this podcast, it was just me and him. And again, we're not, I shouldn't say it in that way. We weren't the brightest of lads. We didn't know what we were doing. It looked like we were recording everything let's have a chat. And it worked, and it's working, and it's helped me even when it comes to presenting at my workplace or talking to people on the outside. We were closed shows, and
The Out. I remember
yeah.
The Out. I used to go out there, yeah. But no,
So
I
it's
agree
opened us up.
completely. Yeah. I mean, for me, I started doing TikTok, which seems to be my main platform now. I started doing TikTok because I wanted there's a trend of I do TikToks to promote my Twitch. That was the phrase.
Yeah.
And then I was like, actually, it's a really nice creative outlet for me. Like that's really good. I do SEO and really boring research stuff, which is very dull and very boring, but it pays well, and I get to sit on my ass as my own boss. But I realized I get to do the creative side of things again, and doing some of this sort of stuff, putting it out, and then it slowly moved over because I'm going through an ADHD diagnosis, even though I don't officially have it. I've scored 100% on everything that is related to ADHD through the doctors, and the doctor that I know basically said, yes, you have ADHD, but I can't confirm that yet. We'll send you off to a psychologist. But so many people that are talking to me on TikTok are ADHD people, and you start to understand a little bit more about yourself. Like I'm 42, and I went to 7 primary schools. I've had over 20 jobs, and and all of these little bits that are sort of starting to make sense. Yeah. And I spoke to my wife about it, and I said something about when you give me 3 different jobs in a row, or requests or whatever could you take the bins out? And then she says, oh, could you do this and carry this up? I just stand in the kitchen in like some sort of weird paralysis.
Yes, that's right.
And she said, I thought ADHD was just being a little bit hyper and a little bit forgetful. And I was like, well, I think that's what people think, but if it isn't, I've got it. And if I don't have it, it's helping me understand me a little bit anyway. But I wouldn't have had that if that wasn't for doing this creative stuff. Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah, it is. It's great to see that, and even in my process, and I remember my wife telling me as well. Like, I think you've got a bit of issues with processing a large amount of information, and it's true. If it's not on a tick list in front of me where I can visually see it, that's not going to be in my head. So I need to visually see things. I'm a visual learner. Same thing when it took ages to write out an email to my work colleagues because I need some sort of guidance, and I've learned to accept that. I found it hard at first to say, look, I suffer something, but now it's like, okay, yes, I suffer it, but I've still been able to do all the crazy things I get to do. But I just need to put my, keep walking forward, keep going forward, and then
we just need to not look away.
Exactly.
As long as we don't look away,
stay on that path, and it'll get there. And yes, there are days it gets messy. It's very hard. It's
Yeah,
Like I find
I
it very hard.
yeah, you have. I don't actually know what you do for a living, but I think you work from home as well, presuming.
Well, kind of. I'm a mixture. I'm actually a marketer, so
Okay.
I'm a vendor manager. So I look after vendors like Apple and Samsung for an education company where we distribute devices and one-to-one schemes to schools, colleges, and universities. So
Amazing.
I went from retail, where I was working in retail for, since I've been 16.
Yeah.
It's only in the past 5 years I've got to reach out, and I was in sales. I've always been in sales. I've always been a people's person,
Yeah.
and then had the opportunity to jump into marketing because they actually didn't know my online presence, and they were like, "Oh my God, Kibbs, you need to be in the marketing team." And COVID happened, and there was like, "Go for it, jump in marketing, go from there, see what you can do." And I just keep, to be honest, I genuinely just keep relationships going, and I push out some marketing, but with marketing, you outsource a lot of stuff, and copywriters and stuff. You get me to write a paragraph about
Yeah.
myself. I know how to draw, and I love movies. That's all like a paragraph's gonna say.
I think that that's when we turn our nerdy geek chat. You turn it onto Chat GPT. That's the next thing. That's you can do a whole series on that. For SEO, it's beautiful because
Yeah,
if you approach it as a researcher, as a nerd, and you type things in like you are the number one movie critic on TikTok. Pretend you are the number one movie critic on TikTok. Do this, and you can tell it bit by bit, and it'll be really dumb at first. By like the 10th question you put in there, it will write an entire script for your entire live, and it will tell you the top 10 movies of the 80s and what
yeah,
was good about each of them, and then to make a website off of it. Like, so
amazing.
from copywriting, as long as you can put your
Yeah,
thoughts.
no, and the thing is, I was using it. I've only started recently using it for my job, and my manager was like, "Excuse me, kids. I know you didn't fucking write that." But I was like, "Listen, I'm using it to help me as a tool." But recently it's crashed. I don't know. I can't seem to log in. I can't seem to work on it for some reason.
I think
Uh,
there's so many people on it, and they've just made the paid version at £20 a pop now as
that's
well.
right.
So it's
That's right.
suddenly go to Open AI, and yeah, there's their predecessor is available still.
I'm gonna go for that and check it out. But other than that, I've been using it recently, not for the content stuff, but I wanted to cut. So baby number two's on the way, and I wanted to make life a bit easy for me. And I've noticed that a video editing, as much as I love it, it does take. It's a ball ache. It's so much to do, and when you've got different guests coming on, and you're doing different content, and I started using an AI to do my editing for me.
Did you? Which
So
one?
I trialed it last week. No, 2 weeks ago I trialed it. I told my brother, listen, I'm losing 7 to 9 hours a week just on editing, and I'm done. Like I'm drained. I'm really tired. I know I had a break during last year where I went on holiday and deleted social media and everything just to get 2 weeks off with
I'm done.
nothing to do. I thought that would help, but it's not, because mentally it was breaking me down, because content is king. It's how much you push out there, but then it's finding the right content as well. So
Yeah.
what happened was we do a movie podcast where we talk about pop culture and movies, and I'm having to go through the hour or 2 hours we talk to
To
get
find it.
clips. Yeah. And
So
then add subtitles and the rest of it. What do you do?
I'm terrible. I have to do the same way, and then I just lose my rag and lose concentration. I'll do a short. That
Yeah.
shorts are
So,
fine.
and
I
shorts are fine. It allows you to help you to do that. But I was like, I still have to find these key moments.
so
So I
I
found
got a new
this.
tool for you. Sorry, you go on, mate. I will interrupt you.
No, no, no,
Like,
that's all right. It's okay. So I found a tool as well. It's called VidiIQ. VidiIQ? No, so VidiQ, which allows me to pop my whole podcast into there, the video podcast of it. And it basically finds all the best clips where it's the best engaging, the laughs, everything. It will give me a title on the top of the screen, and it does the subtitles for me.
now I think I use that on YouTube, and I use the SEO part of it, and it
Mm,
says, "Here's your competitor. Copy their tags and use that more."
that's right.
VidIQ.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
right. That's
I use that
VidIQ.
part.
Yeah, so that part's actually really good. But this video,
Oh,
oh man, video. Let me get it up before
we'll cut this bit out. That's fine.
Yeah, well, no, it's all right, guys. Listeners, this helps. Oh my god, you guys, anybody who gives us questions when they ask, "How do you do this? How do you keep up?" Listen, man, there is so many tools online that are free, and that helps out.
Yeah.
So this one's called, sorry, VidYo.ai. And what that allows me to do is to pop the podcast on there. It will find all the best moments and it will give me titles, templates. I can embed my logo in it.
Oh,
And it gives me 35 to 40 clips from that podcast. I've got content for a week or two there. So
75 minutes of video upload monthly for free?
that's for free. So what happened after 2 weeks was I'm paying for that.
Yeah,
Because yes, I mean,
yeah.
if you're in a position where you can do that, then I would advise it, because now I am 9 hours free during the week to spend time with my daughter and my family.
Amazing. Are you using After Effects as well? Well, you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned it. There is a new update that they just put in this week. I don't have After Effects anymore, but I saw it. I was like, I might go and get it again. It automatically transcribes the video for you. So it's great. So that's going to write out the transcription.
Yeah.
And if you delete the sentence out that says "no man swore at you," it cuts that bit of the segment of the clip out as well. So all you got to do is read through the text and it goes, okay, and it cuts it. I was like,
Okay, that's actually really good.
because you can find words really quickly, but when you go, did I hold my hand up here at that point and say the logo's here? Or yeah, click here.
Yeah, that's right.
Seeing the
That's
words
right. Yeah.
click here, it's a lot easier. So yeah, they've just added it in this week as a new update.
I'm gonna
to
check
it.
that out. I will
Mm.
check that out, definitely.
Yeah, that made me think that could speed things up a lot, depending on how bad it clips it.
No, of course, it depends. I mean, this one's actually it's giving me the benefit of, if I need to make the clips larger or shorter. The only thing that it does catch out on is that we have our slang that we use here in North London. It
North
doesn't
London.
catch all the words. When we say a couple of things, it doesn't catch it. But other than that, it's been an amazing tool and it's helped out massively. And I've seen the difference it's made on like YouTube Shorts and Instagram. TikTok is still a hard one. I'm finding it. I've met some great people, and you have the right people in the right community that you engage with. But then it's like growth has, it's slowed down completely in the past year. But I'm not a numbers guy.
No, but since that last update, I'm the same. You've got to be a numbers guy to some degree. If our content doesn't go out to people, you're like, cool. I put 10 hours into making this, and then I did a video of me picking my nose by mistake, and that got a million. Whatever. It's always the crap things.
Farts do really
they do well. They do really well. But like if nobody's seeing it, and I had the luxury, the joy, whatever you want to call it, to go and meet TikTok last year.
Okay, cool.
I got sent over to head office, and I met with the team, with a content team, for the live department, and I sat there with him for about an hour and a half. Was the idea. I was there for about 3-4 hours because she had ADHD as well, and we just did this. And some of the things that I suggested have now been implemented. So I'm going to say that was me. I don't care if
guys,
I'm
look
saying
at this exclusive. This is an exclusive. That's amazing.
But it was amazing, and I really enjoyed it. And I just you're able to give them things that say this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. Could you do this? Because have you seen that there's a subscriber option on TikTok?
Yes, there is,
and it does virtually nothing. And I said, look, if you look at Patreon, which is something that I do and enjoy and get a few quid out of, the reason I do it is because I can say, this is just for my Patreons. This is just for you. Nobody else will see this content. And TikTok went, yeah, that's really good. And I said, well, I would love to be able to go live on TikTok just to my TikTok subscribers. 3 weeks later, we can now go live to just our TikTok subscribers. So I've got 25 subs that I can go to and I go, hi, it's me. And I'll give them my real name. And, it's the people that I know. And I see them every morning anyway at 7:30 for breakfast. But, it's kind of nice that I feel like I did that. And that's what I'm going to go with, because she seemed like she's like, that's a really good idea. Write that down. And then it became a thing. So
there you go, guys.
Lay claim to it.
exclusive there. Oh man,
I need to ask you about a film.
Go for it.
because you've already reviewed it, and
Hmm.
I've held off watching it too much because I don't like to ruin my films. The Flash. Now,
Hmm.
you were talking earlier about watching a film and everything that goes into it in the background, the content, the creator, the review, the funding, the marketeers, etc. And that's how I feel about The Flash. We don't talk about him, but there's so much more to a film, and I hope it doesn't get, you know,
The thing
um,
is, it
like,
will.
yeah, yeah,
It
it will.
will, and
He's
then
he's
that's the
been a
sad
muppet
thing about it.
on
And
many
and
levels.
he, I mean, it's a hard one. We've been speaking about this on the podcast with my brother for ages now, and just the it's going to be 50-50. There's going to be so much hate towards it.
Yeah,
Having the extra characters in there may push people to go to see the movie, but it's I feel sorry for Warner Brothers, and I've been working with them
yeah,
for years, and they can't seem to just get it off the ground. Some of their movies work, some of them haven't. I mean, I think what James Gunn did with Suicide Squad deserved a lot more praise because that Suicide Squad was absolutely
that was
amazing.
cracking. Loved it.
Yeah,
And from a nerd's background, from youth and from comics and stuff, you're like, yeah, tick. It was
yeah.
great referencing. It was done really well. But it was, would you still say it still had those rushed moments? You're like, just if someone could build again the way Marvel did when they first did their ones, but we're past that point now. Everyone knows that's
Yeah,
coming.
no, of course. And look, and the Flash is going to be the point where everything changes. So they've got a send
A
off to say
flashpoint.
goodbye to, yeah. So Flashpoint. So this movie Flashpoint is based off a comic book that came out. I think it was like 6-7 years ago. I'm going to say, and I think it's Scott Snyder who wrote it, and it's about the Flash going to save his mum. As you, I don't know if you've seen the trailer, have you?
I've seen the trailer and I binge watched all the TV series, and he was my favorite character growing up as a kid.
Cool. So in the comic books, he in this version where he goes to save his mum, he's created an alternate reality where everything's all messed up, and they're going to do this as a movie now. So they've taken a different approach to it, and
Yeah.
they've united movie worlds together. But yeah, this will be the point where, because at the end of the comic book, and I don't even know if I should spoil this for you. You
God.
know what? I'm not going to spoil this for you.
I've seen Flashpoint, the
Animation.
animated movie. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
so that was amazing.
With
So
with
exactly,
the
that's
different
almost off
Batman,
the
with
comic
the
book.
different Batman, and yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah. So that
there were
was
the meta guys, and yeah,
all right, cool. So basically, he restarted the whole DC universe by doing that.
which is
That was in the
hopefully.
comic books, which
Mm.
is what's going to happen now moving forward after this Flash.
Do you
I
think,
mean,
are we going to see Nightwing? Are we finally going to see that timeline? Because I've been looking forward to it. He's non-meta, so he could
yeah, that's right.
appear,
That's right. That's right.
But I
We're
immediately
gonna. It's
started.
gonna be full
Go
of.
on.
It's gonna be full of surprises. It'll be.
Honest,
It'll be there. It'll be a nice send off, basically.
I've been looking at it frame by frame to try and see what I could get
Pick
out of
out
it.
them.
Yeah. And the thing that just kept on getting me every single time, if he's dressed in yellow, there's only one reason I can ever think of the other Barry
Hmm.
Allen being dressed in yellow. So like the reverse Flash side of things.
That's
And
right.
he's a little bit crazy, and he's a little bit I like, so surely he's got to become the reverse Flash. And that's just my nerdiness that I've been thinking over and over and
Could
over.
be. It could be. It could be. It'd be interesting. I think. I think he's going to be the helping hand. I think we're going to have a reverse Flash in this movie, but I don't know who it's going to be. But
Yeah.
uh, it'll be somebody to be introduced later. But they've there's something that's leaked recently
Oh, I'm
that
not
I think I
spilling
know what's
leaks.
going to happen. So,
Go on, tell me. Exclusive.
excuse me. I think it's a toy company leaked it recently. It's called the Dark Flash. So it's like a. I can't remember. He was in the TV show though. He
Yeah.
looks a bit
Yeah.
ripped up, and he's
I
part of
know
the
the one.
Speed Force. He's like a ghost, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
remember. I remember. Yeah, he just looked like a, yeah, gaunt,
kind
almost
of
zombie with, yeah, with the
zombie
suit on.
flesh. Yeah, with the
Yeah.
black suit on. Yeah, so I think that's the main villain we're going to get. But let him restart it. I think James Gunn, and as much as people don't like James Gunn and the hate that he's been getting recently, he's a guy who knows the content so well. And what he did with
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy,
Oh,
he brought a team that had nobody had known about until even when I said, okay, hold up, why is he picking the shittest characters in the Marvel universe for?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But he made them beloved fans of the franchise. Like, he gave them the best soundtracks out of all of the movies. He's seriously just loves that stuff. And when I interviewed him, I think it was last year for Peacemaker.
Mm.
He's a music man, and I'm a music man. I love my music, and we got to geek out about music and how he implements it into his, his the content that we get in comic books. Because you don't really know what
No.
in a comic book. It doesn't tell you that the Batman's listening to Nirvana. These are fans that have said, you know what, I think Batman would listen to Nirvana.
Yeah.
You know, and same thing. Matt Reeves did the same thing. He goes, when I was writing the script. Because I was always like, man, you picked such a great song. Like, what made you pick Nirvana? Something in the way? Why? He goes, when I was writing that script, I was like, that'd be the best broody music that
Yeah.
Batman would listen to. And he implemented that in the story because he goes, I was listening to it for hours and it was the best thing to put in there. And the same thing
Dark
James
and
Gunn
broody.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect.
James Gunn said the same thing. Good music will go with the characters, and people will connect. I mean, whether it's the older fans or the younger fans, he'll introduce music to a new generation of people.
I think that's it. If you get the right score for any movie, it's gonna. I was talking about Breakfast Club the other day, and we immediately went like.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I immediately remembered the final scene as I was talking about it. So, I can't watch that film now for a bit. But it sticks with you, and it's those moments. They are the things every single time, and then it triggers that emotional response, whatever it is
Mhm.
each time. And me and you, Back to the Future. Yes. Can I think of any superhero ones? Well, yeah, Superman. Every single time, it's gonna hit you, and your Terminator. Da-dum, dum, da-dum,
Yep.
those bits are always going to be synonymous with the films every single time.
No, they work great with it, and I think James Gunn has such a love for like the comic books, and he introduced characters that nobody would ever talk about or even think about because we're so used to the mainstream ones. What he's looking to do with the DCEU moving forward, I mean, I have a bit of faith. Let's see how it goes. But I personally feel like, as a comic book fan, we're oversaturated with too much content
Yeah,
and it's lost its substance. It doesn't have substance. And I think that's what I found with Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania was they had a great premises to do something very big and very, threatening for the MCU. That it's for new fans. They're catering for a different generation, and it's about toys and merchandise. That's where they're making their money, and that's how the MCU started. When they said they were going to make an Iron Man movie, it was all based on toys
yeah.
and saving Marvel's ass.
When you look back at Marvel and that Iron Man movie, you go, "That's a great movie, standalone." With these whisperings of something that might happen, and that was like in the post credits, if I remember. It
Yeah.
wasn't, you know, and I felt like everything gets a little bit too rushed. You can get this bit out in a second. This is just for me and you. If not, Quantumania, Darren, the Modoc, like that was great. That could have been a huge build towards it. And I was like, oh, it's great to see him. He's an iconic character.
Mm. I know,
Wasn't
and
there?
that's what upset me the most as an X-Men fan was MODOK plays a big part in that universe, and we'll probably get a different version of him later on.
Yeah,
This is a
a few
different,
more wrinkles.
yeah, 616 universe. This is the multiverse saga, so I understand they're gonna experiment so much more with this,
Yeah,
and again with Kang as well. There's so much to him as a character, and his links to the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, and it's gonna be a bit messy. I feel like we're coming to a point now where Marvel's got a bit messy, even with Phase 4. But it's what they
yeah.
do with it after. I mean, I still watch it. I'm still a fan. I still love it. I don't have no issues with it. I go to the cinema because I want to go watch these films. I want to watch these films. It takes me away.
I adore my wife for the fact that I said to her, how do you feel about me going to see a film every single Monday, no matter what? And she would go away. I was like, okay, perfect. But so I've now got my Limitless account and I go every single Monday without fail. I go and watch a film. And I nearly had to go and watch Magic Mike the other day. And then they said Quantumania was out on Friday. I was like, I'll go and see that. I can't be the only man sitting in a cinema on his own watching Joker 3, saying, no, honestly, I'm just here for Salma Hayek. Honestly,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's a difficult watch. Definitely a difficult watch. Not in my genre of stuff that I like.
Not me.
But yeah, what? So you know what? We didn't confront each other regarding Babylon. So tell me, talk to me.
Okay.
Give me.
Now, I try not to ruin the film too much, but
It's all right.
I could see the idea of what they wanted to do, and this is this huge Oscar-worthy piece. I could get that. I don't know if it was meant to be really clever, but with Brad Pitt's piece where he's talking to the camera and he's on the phone, he said, "Look, you just want me in the film for my name." Okay. And that resonated with that particular film right there and then for me. I said to most of my friends, if you took Brad Pitt out of that film, I would have been very happy. You took, I forget his name, Peter Parker.
Tobey Maguire. Yeah.
Thank you. You took Tobey Maguire out of there, and all of that weird dungeony scene, took all of that out. And for me, take out up until the Babylon logo came in at the very beginning. The whole sex and debauchery. I'm an old prude. The old sex and debauchery thing at the beginning, I didn't think it added anything to it. If you focused on Margot Robbie and the lead guy's name,
Which I don't know, but I'm just going to call him Danny.
I want to call him Manny. So that's
Manny. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. They were calling him Manny. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's it. If they focused on their relationship and just kept it in, it would be about 45 minutes less. And I thought that would have like a coherent story. It just felt a little bit too, okay, and stop, right? Oscar piece and pitch. And that annoyed the hell out of me because it kept on breaking away from the story that I was really enjoying. And I really liked the saxophonist. Wasn't Louis, who was it? I've forgotten who it was. The saxophonist.
Yes, that's right. His name's gone right in my head as well, but
I they really liked that.
They did touch on a subject that they didn't continue after. So there was some. I think after my second watch, I think the first time round was hype. The second time round, again, I still appreciated for what it was, but it could have been 30 minutes shorter. Because I was at my age now, my bladder can't hold that much fluids. Yeah. So I needed to run out. But because for me, I'm a fan of what Damien does with his work. I'm a fan of music as well. And I think that what keeps me drawn in. But then he has this messy way of directing and editing that works with my artistic style.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I think that's where people would say, yeah, Kibbs, it's a bit messy and the rest of it. And I'm like, dude, that's me all over.
See,
that is me all over.
I love the score and I love the visuals. I would not take that was impeccable. That was beautiful. Something got my back up. There was the fact I said this to you, I think on a message, was at the end of most of these last top box office films that I've been to see, because I've been in the cinema with only 2 or 3 people because it's a Monday night. So I've got my own cinema now. At the end of Avatar, round of applause, everyone loved it. The end of A Man Called Otto, we're all sitting there shell shocked and people just wiping away their tears. The end of Quantumania, as I said, there were the 2 kids that stood up and said, "I told you not to listen to critics, Dad." At the end of Babylon, everyone stood up and left. That was it. All right, I'm out of there. I'm gone. And there were people like running down the steps to flee. It felt like that's because we all needed to get to the bog. But it didn't. Yeah, maybe it's just me. But I'm an old prude. I think that might be.
No, that's all right, dude. It's all right, dude. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. No offense taken.
I could see what they were going for, and it distracted me from what I felt could have been an amazing film. And I think that's why it's a bit Marmite. People either
you love it or you don't like it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what is it? Mark Hamone. He says it. I love what he does. And I love his. He's a film critic.
Yeah,
I'm not. I didn't study film.
No,
I just grew up with that stuff. So my thoughts on it would be completely different. But then it works with my personality. Some of these films that came out, and for Babylon, it was something that really worked because as content creators ourselves and how we put stuff out there as well, you know, that scene with Brad Pitt and the writer, I forgot her name as well, when she was saying, you know, that hit,
That was the only scene
that hit.
when he's just got the phone call, and he's
Yeah.
losing his rag. That I was like, yeah, do that, Brad. Don't do staying on the table in your pants. Didn't add anything to it. The slightly drunk comedic. I was like, okay, a bit of comedy or a bit of serious, bit of pit. That bit that you just said about was that was beautifully done. It showed Brad acting. It showed emotion. It had a good, good. There was virtually no score or music going on. It was just acting.
Yeah,
that was good.
That's right.
But it was a very different story to the rest of the film.
No, that's Damien for you. But yeah, no. So I don't know, for some reason it's connected to me dramatically. And that soundtrack, it keeps playing in the back of my head, but I suppose it does really work with my personality because I'm so messy. I'm not if I work on a project, it's gonna be messy. But I'll get it done.
Yeah.
But it's going to be so messy. And it just related to me in that sense because that last scene where everything kind of music goes crazy and all this art stuff kicks off and the rest of it, that is my mind. It was so weird because for me, it connected in a way such because I do all of this. Like I did a workshop 2 years ago at Aston University up in Birmingham, and it was doing, I was doing digital art and comic book art to kids that have just come out of COVID and trying to find work and understand more about the industry. And so it was more of a mentoring course.
Amazing.
And I didn't do shit for it. I was so like, I'm still trying to do my 9 to 5. And then I was doing all the content. And then it was like, I haven't even prepped for this. So I do everything on the spot. I feel like an MC when I'm there. That I just kind of just go off with all whatever messes in my head. We're going to go with it. We're going to, and it worked out great. You know, I had a great, yeah. So it's like, it's
this
messy
is why
kids.
ADHDers and people with autism, this is why we are becoming TikTok generation, because we don't sit down and rehearse. We blur. And it works for us. And me and you, we could do these all the time and just bounce off each other. If I sat there and wrote a script, it would go incredibly wrong because I'd realize I missed the word "the" once, and I just record. I'm going to New York on Friday, so I've just recorded 65 TikToks.
Wow.
I'll be wearing the same clothing, just dumping all of the clothes. But it's it's the way we do things. So
no, it works. And if, like as I said, like I mean, to the listeners out there at the moment, now they always ask, how do you compose yourself? How do you get yourself out there for brands and speaking to movie studios and the rest of it? And like, listen, it for us, and I've always said it, it's been luck of the draw. If I've been invited somewhere, I've been invited somewhere. My issue is that I haven't never chased it. And I think when I used to put so much pressure on myself to say, why haven't I done this and why haven't I chased this and the rest of it, things just happen, and before you know it, it will just keep rolling in, but you have to keep that momentum going. So as you said, regarding doing 65 pieces of content ready to go out there while you can enjoy your time away, it's a great way of managing what you're doing. And it's all about time management and having content ready and stuff like that, where it makes life a bit, I said my motto this year was work smarter, not harder. Yeah. So, and I've been coming and it's working like that. I still have my moments though, my mind wanders. I have my Babylon moments where everything goes crazy and the music's going dramatically fast. And if I don't do my morning meditation and my yoga, I'm not going to feel it for the rest of the day. And people can notice that, you're frantic, Kibbs.
I don't have my fidget spinner, which I don't.
Exactly.
I'm like this all day.
Exactly. So it's just I just say I have great faith in what I do. I believe I can do what I'm doing, even though it could be messy sometimes, but it's just pure honest mess.
I think that's the only way we can do it.
Yeah, and it's not like my opinion's not going to matter to a lot of people. It doesn't matter if you don't like the film. It doesn't bother me. I got pure joy out of that film. Like Plane, when we watched that, I watched that with the wife the other day.
I felt like I watched that with you, by the way.
Yeah, we loved it. We absolutely loved it. And she was like, there were some scenes in there, like a couple of jump scares. And I was like, shit, that caught me off guard. Like that scene in the when he's on the phone to his daughter and he's trying to give the location, and this guy just comes out of nowhere. I was like, fuck, that scared the hell out of me.
And I told you about that scene. That one cut scene for a fight scene. I'm like,
Yeah,
you're
it's good.
pushing your feet against the chair in front of you, thinking, this is really bloody stressful. I wasn't expecting this.
Even the plane. Anyway, guys, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Here's a plug-in for Liongate Cinema, UK, guys. It's still in cinema, so go check it out. But yeah, no, I'm you won't believe, like, some of the stuff that's just come around our way has been absolutely amazing. I mean, I could never have thought, like, I couldn't tell teenage kids that you're going to be doing some great stuff, and you're going to meet great people along the way.
Let's just say The Rock. Come on, let's just say The Rock. Come on.
You know what? To be honest, still for me, it's still Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. Without a doubt.
I mean, 100%. You know,
Yeah,
I would walk past The Rock, push him to one side. Sorry.
Michael J. Fox, that was just out of this world. But that was before, like, you know, what I post and the rest of it, and having the opportunity to get to meet such a amazing person. Like, you know, he must have met thousands. You know what? I think that day at Comic-Con, we had more than, I think it was 11 or 12,000 people in the building. And it was heaving with Back to the Future fans. And he got to see so many people take photos, have conversations. And I was, man, how are you even doing this? And it was because you guys are feeling me. And it was just amazing. Such a humble, amazing opportunity to meet him. But The Rock, oh my God, shit. Who would have thought that would come? Like, the universe, whether you're religious or not, or, you know, spiritual, the universe does throw things your ways, and
you've got to be there to accept them.
Exactly. You have to, and don't be afraid. Like, I remember when we started this podcast, again, we didn't want to, yes, we focus on numbers on a scale, but we don't want to make it a main thing where you can actually see that, oh, these guys are forcing themselves to do something. And I didn't want to do that because it takes out the joy of doing what we do. But when I put out that reaction, and we're not a big podcast and we don't have a big following, when I put that out there, we had just started the Twitter page. And I remember doing the reaction to the first clip of Black Adam that he put out. And then, you know, I was doing it really quietly because my daughter was sleeping. I didn't want to wake her up. I just put her to bed. I was like, I just want to watch DC Fandom. Let's do this. And he retweeted it. I don't tag many people.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I didn't tag him. I just put down the hashtag Black Adam. Here's my reaction. I came to my phone and I was like, fuck, like, what happened to Twitter? Like, how many messages? What, 44,000 views within an hour? You're like, what the fuck? I only had 5 followers yesterday. I only had 5 followers, but I haven't read his message yet. It was only until the day after, because I thought it was, you know, that night, I thought it was his PR company or a fan page that retweeted it. Yeah. So I'm your everyday guy. I'm not going to look into it too deep.
Everything's going ping.
Then I looked at him and I was like, I read his Twitter, what he's mentioned, and I was like, this is probably the most quietest reaction I have seen for Black Adam. He goes, I can't wait till you see the movie, brother. And I looked at it and I was like, holy shit, this is The Rock. And I told my brother, I was like, bro, this is actually The Rock retweeting us. And, you know, that was where it kicked off. And then exactly a year later, Warner Brothers exactly a year's anniversary later, Warner Brothers surprised us. And the way they surprised us was just brilliant, because I know what he did was, like, he said, anybody I've interacted with in the UK regarding Black Adam, I want to meet them face to face. They had us in the hotel, and we thought I had just done an interview with Pierce Brosnan. I was, you know, most of the cast of the movie. Yeah. And I was already blown away by that. And Pierce Brosnan, oh my God, you know.
Legend. Yeah.
Even for a guy, I was like, shit, I'm
I hope you met him and went, so let's talk about Mrs. Doubtfire, your peak of your role.
He wonderful, absolutely wonderful, and he's an artist. So I got to have a conversation with an artist, which was amazing for me, amazing, because when he got onto the Bond franchise, he took on oil painting on canvases. So we got to geek out about that a little bit, which was amazing. But yeah, the PR company kept us busy in the hotel room. We're thinking we're going to just go watch the premiere. And then he walks in and says, look at all of these beautiful people. And I was turned around, I was gobsmacked, absolutely gobsmacked. you know, he spent time with us. We went to the premiere with him, went to an after party. What a nice guy. What a
He,
nice guy. He carries that wrestling charisma with him still.
yeah, he
And
comes across as, I mean, I've never met him, but you feel like you know The Rock. You feel like you know him. He comes across as a nice guy, and I can't think of other there's a
there are a
few others
few.
out.
I've
Yeah,
met a few where people
the
say, "Oh, me
persona
are
is there.
heroes." Yeah, but I can't blame them. Doing the work that they do, if you're not in it 100%, it's hard work,
Yeah,
And even with The Rock, like he had his, you could see his nervous moments when he was with us, and I was like, "Oh man, you've just kind of made yourself really on the same level as us for doing what you did there." Because I know you're big with your fans. You love interacting with your fans. I've seen how much what you do. People put persona on Instagram and TikTok and the rest of it, but you're just being you. And
I saw a really heartfelt thing with him. Sorry, I didn't mean to
mm,
interrupt. I saw a really heartfelt thing with him ages ago, and it was about his abs. Some troll had come on and they'd said something about, "Cool, call yourself a muscle man, don't even have abs." And he put up just a very quick video saying, "Here's the clip of me blowing my abs out wrestling, and intensive care, and I will never have that ab, and that's why it's flat." And you suddenly went, "God, he's a human being, and someone's just hurt this massive man's heart." And and I loved that. I thought that was a beautiful moment. It sort of
it
stuck with
plays a
me.
big part. Everybody says everybody puts on a persona, and to a certain extent, we all do. It's part of what we do as well. But
Oh yeah,
bring a bit of heart into it, and people see the honesty in it, and then you keep moving forward from there. I mean, some of the comments we get is horrible. Ugh, horrible. I mean, easy. Like my brother says, post and ghost. He
yeah,
stands by Joe Rogan, post and ghost, but don't read the comments, kids, because that's where it's going to drag you down.
yeah,
And I'm finding it hard because if I don't respond or if I don't kind of engage with it, then it just kind of stays there. And I feel like the way these platforms work, you have to engage, but you have to be smart in the way you engage as well.
yeah, yeah,
So not nasty comments get deleted,
yeah.
and people that want to have an opinion and talk about things, then we can have a conversation because that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, we have a good conversation.
I adore that. I adore that.
Yeah.
There's a show on at the moment. And tell me, by the way, if this is taking too long. I know
No,
sometimes you have
dude,
to
go
wrap
for
up
it.
with life. There's a TV show that's just finished up about pilgrimage. Now, for
Mhm.
myself, I consider myself an atheist. We've
Mhm.
gone down that route already, and it was just really interesting. It's got Neil Morrissey in there.
Mhm.
It's got the Catholic vicar that is in everything on TV at the moment. I can't remember her name. Apologies.
Yeah.
And it had it's got some really big famous people. I can't think of any of their names because that's the way my brain is.
Mhm.
Paddy, someone, the Irish comedian. He is actually called Paddy. And
Okay.
they're all going on a journey through France, and they're going on a pilgrimage and talking about their religion along the way. And they hadn't, so you had an atheist, a Catholic, a Christian, and you had a humanist in this Paddy guy, and
Okay.
everybody having their own conversation along the way. And it was really just very different to see how people uh, interpreted things. And by the end of it, I realized I'm a humanist, which was don't be a dick to each other. That was roughly the whole story of it. Oh, and that was it. It had Raf, who is
Mhm.
the guy who got put in prison for murder, having not committed a murder, and he's been in jail for 20
Oh,
years. He's like, there's no way I believe in God anymore. And he came away, he's going, no, I like this humanist thing. I think that's quite. It was quite nice that somebody else had a different view and they managed to have this sort of perspective of things together. Very different thing that you could do. I went on to this for a reason, by the way.
no, that's all right. That's all right. That's fine. Uh,
I did pre-warn you.
no, no, no. That's fine. That's fine. I've only come close to my faith in the past couple of years, uh, due to personal issues and me not believing in the divine stuff. But recently, I'm like, oh my god, each their own, and I'll respect each to their own.
That's
But
where I
if
was going with it.
yeah, respect to each to their own, honestly. And with
Yeah,
the way the world is changing so quickly, all I want it to be is I get scared because I got a little girl and I've got another one coming soon, and the world we live in is scary. You know,
Yeah,
I know my part of what I went through when I grew up.
yeah, yeah,
What are they going to go through? Because it's going to be completely different. I went through, you know, identity crisis and religious crisis, and you know, racist attacks and all the rest of it. To you know, come into a place now where I'm at a point where it's all level field, kind of. There's still
yeah.
issues there and there, but
What will
the
be the
agenda's
big issue then?
changed.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Hulk,
everything's changed now.
yeah. I
So
mean, imagine 10 years ago. Oh my God, do you refer to them as a he or a she? Like that wouldn't have been a thing. Another 10, 20 years from now, that could be very different again. Oh my God.
exactly.
You know, I think things are changing all the time. We're learning things. I had a conversation with my dad and stand up row because he was saying about ADHD and autism just being labels. I was like, kind of a big, you know, a point for me. And I've got an autistic niece as well.
Mm,
Yeah, and him not understanding. I was like, well, do you understand how like the dopamine levels work? And we didn't know
exactly.
about that before. You know, we just went, it's the naughty kid who doesn't listen. So things are changing. God, we gone
Give me a
deep.
second. That's all
Go,
right.
go,
Hello?
child.
Oh, somebody knock. Hello? Oh, do you not? Oh, I think somebody's at the door. All right, that's fine. Uh, somebody at the door? I think so.
Knocking at the door. Oh God.
No, it's fine. It's all good. It's all good. Uh, all right. Gotta get back to my 9 to 5.
Got to get back to your 95. Can I ask you a quick question?
Go for it.
And this was for you. So I made a list whilst I was in the cinema the other day of the
Hmm.
upcoming movies that had to be watched. Like what was I really excited about? Yes, I put The Flash down, but
Hmm.
Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah. Quantumania we've seen. I'm semi addicted to wanting to see more of Cocaine Bear. That was the one that looked ridiculous, over the top, and could be so much fun if they go down like the Lake Placid route of it. But I was
It's Ray
interested.
Liotta's last movie, so I get to see it tomorrow. So there's an exclusive for you guys. So I'm looking forward to it as well. The trailer is like batshit crazy.
Yeah,
It looks fun. I'm not going to expect much from it, but
no,
it's like how the Jackass movie was last year. I didn't expect much from it, but oh my God, like I suppose in my old age, I'm like, why would you put yourself through that for? Why? Don't you want kids? Don't you want kids? But no, I suppose they've made their decision on what they're going to do. But like Jackass was one of my favorite films, like one of my
of
favorite
course.
films last year, because it was just engaging and silly and made me laugh and hurt me in several ways.
And yeah, hold everything together and be tense.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was like, oh man, I'm glad I still got these,
Yeah.
because why would you do that to yourself?
We
But
are
then
the
you,
MTV generation, you see. So we grew
yeah,
up with that. We loved that sort of thing.
yeah.
And you know, I definitely have a few scars, cuts, breaks and stuff because I used to ride motorbikes and I thought I can do that. They did it.
Yeah, no. So that was one. And you know, Top Gun stole the show last year. You know, here's a movie that's 36 years. After the original movie. It's nuts. It's
Yeah.
absolutely nuts, and it made so much money, and it was a good action film. And I still don't know who the bad guys were.
No,
That's amazing.
no. And I think I
That
really
is
liked that
amazing.
because I did wonder how they were going to approach that at one point. So
I was like, they could have went any avenue. They could have got so many people involved. There's a war going on currently. Like what, they did it all in a way where we didn't know the main guys. So, but that was really good. I think my movie this year, I mean, so far, The Whale has, stole my heart. The Whale,
I haven't seen it yet. I've held
Brendan
off.
Fraser. Brendan Fraser deserves it all. I mean, actually, hold up. My number one movie last year was Everything Everywhere All at Once. So I'm gonna show you. Oh my God, that movie was beautiful. I love that movie. Again, another messy movie that I just absolutely adore. Uh, and then for me, what else is there? So Cocaine Bear,
I mean,
Creed
this
3.
Creed 3. I had not seen 1 or 2, but I saw the trailer for 3. I was like, that's
You
so
gotta catch up.
rocky.
You
And
gotta catch
I
up.
know it's based on the Apollo. So I'm sort of there, and I know I should have watched it,
A
but
lot of people haven't. I think have seen it. I mean, I was speaking to my manager over there, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go. I can't wait for Creed 3." And he was like, "Oh, I haven't seen the first ones, but I love the Rocky story." And I think what they've done in this one with Adonis Creed and continuing the story of the Rocky universe,
Yeah,
it's got the same heart that those original movies have. And again, it's all about the underdog story, which is still embedded in the DNA of that film.
yeah.
You're cheering, you're screaming, you're feeling the same emotions he's going through. And it's Michael B. Jordan's first directorial debut.
I
So
saw that. I didn't realize until I saw that. I was like, oh, that could lend to it
because
because I
I actually
love him.
yeah, so he I've heard good things. So I'm looking forward to watching that. And then I know they did the premiere last week with Ant-Man. So much going on at the moment, and like time
This feels.
conflictions.
I don't know about you. This feels like everything that was meant to happen in 2019, 2020, they've held off and they're just rolling it out now. Like
Mm,
COVID's done. Let's do this stuff because you've got Indiana Jones.
mm.
Could be great. It should be great.
James
Hopefully,
Mango, I trust James Mango. He'll be fine. He'll be
we'll be
fine.
fine. We've also got Spider. Was it the Spider Verse?
Oh yes, Across the Spider Verse comes out this year. Oh my god.
Yeah, and just quietly snuck along in the background, the Lufa movie.
Oh my god. So that's
I'm
coming
like,
out tomorrow
I think it is. Yeah, I'm like,
or
I
Friday.
hadn't
Yeah, Loof.
really heard anything about it. I was like, oh, we're gonna have Idris in movie form.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I've loved those programs.
See
They're
that that's
they're
the
really
North
good.
London
So
slang. Rub. Rub.
yeah.
That's the North London slang. I'm southeast. I don't
All
get that.
right. I do enjoy the Luther series is absolutely awesome. So turning it into a movie is going to be interesting. I've seen there's one or two trailers. It comes out on Friday. There's so much, and you're right. It's too much content to keep up with now.
It was
Too
just
much.
the more I looked into this, the more I thought
Because
maybe
then you've got
maybe
all the
I'm
DC
making a
stuff.
bit
I
of
think. I
content.
think we got Flash, we got Shazam, we got Blue Beetle, we've got Aquaman coming out. I've heard some bad stuff about Aquaman, the first one, but Aquaman was the one that kicked off the podcast and the career for Kibla Ahmed.
Yeah.
That was the first time I saw my name published in a newspaper or a poster. Or it was in the trailers.
Oh, a
That's
beautiful
what
moment.
kicked it off. It was in the trailers. I remember somebody I haven't spoken to years on Facebook had tagged me in a post and said, Kibs, I've just seen your name come up. I don't know if it's the same Kibla Ahmed, but you're the only Kibla I know. It's come up on the Aquaman trailer. And it was so funny because I think when I left the cinema, I'm a visual guy because I read comic books. I love comic book artwork. I adore comic book artwork. So I see a movie for its visuals at times. So like Star
Yeah.
Wars plays a big part of my visual storytelling. When I saw Star Wars, I was like, oh my God, this is just beyond amazing. So where we've got to from physical props and filming and CGI to what we get now, I mean, filming underwater is probably one of the few movies. Like, I mean, Abyss, James Cameron did it with Abyss,
Oh,
but
which is
this one, fully underwater stuff, and it looks stunning. Like, I love that world. Yeah, the story's not great, but I still watchable.
so
And
I'm not up to speed. Is this Jason Momoa Aquaman? Or
yeah,
is this
yeah.
again? Okay, so like three. This will be the third one?
This would be the second one.
I feel like there was a second, but that's
Justice
because
League.
this.
He was
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
Justice League. Yeah, no, that's right. So I think Warner Brothers invited me to meet James Wan, the director, just
Wow.
before that, and that was my first ever event. And I went there as Kibla Ahmed Art, which is the art channel that I ran, and got to geek out with James Wan, talk about Annabelle and The Conjuring and a couple of his horror movies, to coming into the comic book world. And Peter Safran, who's partnered up as James Gunn's second CEO for DC Studios. And we geeked out for a little bit, and then when I watched the movie, I came out, tweeted, I think the movie looked stunning. So they used that quote, stunning, on the trailer, and it wasn't even that. It's a scene of Jason Momoa's back, and he flicks his hair back,
I know
and
the
it
one. Yeah.
says stunning Kibla Ahmed Art Twitter. And I was like, I can't say much, can I? He's a good looking dude, so it worked out perfectly.
The only claim to fame that my family could have had for a movie is it's a massive claim to fame. But my dad did nothing about it. My dad's a motorcycle tuner.
Hmm.
That's what he does for life. He makes two-stroke engines go faster. That's what he does.
Nice.
People will now find me on the internet. Damn it. Anyway, and this guy came in, and he was a special effects guy, and he brought in basically a flatbed truck of like what looked like go-kart engines. And my dad's like, "What are these for?" He's like, "Oh, they're for model helicopters." We've made these model helicopters that are identical to these helicopters that we're going to put in a film, but they can't take off. They're too heavy. The engine's not got enough oomph on them. My dad tuned them, got them all running, and he came home. He said, "You ever heard of Ridley Scott?" I was like, "Oh, yes." And there's a little film called Black Hawk Down where they only had 2 full-size helicopters. The rest of them are model helicopters flying next to them, but it makes it look like it's in formation. And my dad tuned all of those helicopters that are flying along in formation. And I think he charged them like 300 quid. And but he knew it was Ridley Scott. It was his special effects man. Yeah. Anyway, that could have been the claim to fame. That could have been the launch of my career. Oh,
that's
so
amazing.
Maybe there'll be a tagline on my thing. So
there's always, I think now, as creators, there's great opportunity out there. You know, great opportunity, and how you put yourself forward and what you're honest with, and how you interact with some of the brands and the studios, I think plays an important key. And remember, if you're registered as a film critic and stuff like that, you'd get invited to all events and stuff like that. I'm not good with my words. I'm not that guy. I can talk about it all day long, but I'm not one to write it all out. So I'm shocked that they give me the invites, that they contact me, and sometimes I have to verify with my brother, and I'm like, bro, listen, you know I'm not good at this stuff. Could you do some investigating and find out if this is the right person, or is somebody just trying to sort me out a bank account for no reason?
Yeah.
From a different country. So I don't believe it. I never believe it. Every single thing I get vetted by my brother. He's the guy who reads the contracts. I'm not good at that. He has helped me a lot in getting this off the floor, as I would say, just because I didn't know the opportunities that you can get out there, and you can reach out to them. Their emails are there on their website, guys. Like, everybody goes on like they're saying, you know, I think I got a message yesterday saying, "Oh, you're so lucky you get to go to these things," but you can as well. But it's presenting what you can do, and this is where the numbers stuff kicks in. You know, once they see, you know, there are smaller creators out there that are doing some great stuff at the moment. You know, I go to this masterclass with Logitech, and because of my day job, I got a connection that's there. I go to their masterclasses to learn more, a little bit more, because I'm a visual learner.
Yeah.
If you give me something in paper, it's going to be really hard for me to take in. But there's classes, there's YouTube videos, there's so much to pick up from. But you got to make that time, and that's what it is. It's dedication and time, and
it is that grind. 100%. I think because we are what are we? Are we millennials? Are we zennials? I don't know anymore.
I have no idea. But I don't put a title on it.
I don't put a title on it, but apparently we are that generation that we were always told you're going to have to work for it. That's our generation. That's where
that's
we
right.
are. As opposed to, in theory, our kids, where we've said, I don't want you to have to work as hard as I could, but you could be the president. That's meant to be the divide between it. But like, I've ground out through TikTok, through my Twitch and stuff, and just through pure bloody mindedness, really. But whenever there's an opportunity, just sort of latching onto it. You know, they said, "Did you want to come along to TikTok?" Yes, I do. And you know, I didn't get anything out of it other than that, but I'm now connected to about 32 people at TikTok on LinkedIn, and I communicate a couple of them who said, "Don't ever tag me into a TikTok video ever again, you ass," which was with a smiley face, so that was fine. But you know, you can carve out the and you can carve out these relationships if you put a bit of
you got to do
that.
You got to learn. You got to try things. If you know, if somebody directly said, "Oh, Kibs, don't post that," you know, just delete it and just say sorry, and you know, you continue. You learn things in the process. So much I've learned, and you can reach out to people and PR companies and the people that are running these things, and it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hard digging. I know people that's all they want to do is dig out contacts, and you can do it, but there's other ways as well, guys. People will contact you if you're pushing good out there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the only thing I've ever said to people is make sure you present yourself as you want to be known.
Yeah,
I've got a lot of
exactly.
mates that have done, stuff that they probably shouldn't put on TikTok or YouTube or Facebook or whatever, and then it kills their brand later.
Mm.
I do a Discord and everything I do is PG, and
Mm.
everyone's like, "Why do you want to be PG?" Because I want to run a YouTube channel and I want to be able to monetize it someday, and I want to be able to
Exactly.
talk to people and they can go, "Ah, okay, we can use your content because you don't say worse than bum." You know, you'll hear me
Well,
playing COD now, and I say fudge.
that's really good. See, so this is something that I need to take on personally, because I use too many bad words in front of my daughter. Oh my God, such a potty mouth. And then my brother doesn't help because he's on the podcast effing and blinding half the time. So it's like, oh, bro, come on, let's try. But it's just us. I mean, I know my issues. I know what I need to do, but it's something that is in the works. I'm gonna try and get it down to at least a 12A or something
If
like
you can
that.
get it down to fudge shiitake and
Yeah.
countryman is a good backup one. That
Ah.
you can cover yourself off with that one.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. I'll note that down. Definitely. Definitely. Uh. All right. No man's. Thank you so much. I think yeah, we could keep going, to be honest. There's so much more we could cover. Because
I'm
I
going to go
love
and
what
try.
you do with the 80s run of movies at the moment now. I'd love to do a collaboration with you on one of those 80s movies because I used to run on the older channel, I used to run a section where we did trailer reactions to old movies in the 80s. So it was called the retro trailer reactions.
I've only just
So
discovered reactions in the last month. Have you seen Rob Squad's reactions? I'm going
no,
back then and up. It's I'm going to say a young American couple. They've got to be in like their mid-20s sort of thing.
yeah.
And they are going through Jaws and Ghostbusters and all
Oh
this sort
my
of stuff. And
God.
they watched Forrest Gump and they were both in tears through it. And I was like, they need some from like an aesthetic point, they need designers and stuff to I like, oh, but they've got millions of followers. They're really
Wow.
but watching them watch the Goonies for the first time, you're like, oh, I'm
Oh
reliving it with
man.
them. But I've just got to say, so they're a black couple, and they got to watch Trading Places for the first time. And being a younger couple, it's the first time they'll ever have heard anybody use that word in a movie.
Oh,
Yes, but Eddie Murphy's in there, so it's sort of but they portray the two nasty guys, which I can remember who they are. I want to call them Marley and Marley, but the two older millionaires, and
yes, yes, yes.
they refer to Eddie Murphy as that word, and the look on their faces, they said it in the film, and they hated those two, and like it worked in that context, in that film, at that moment, in that time. But me as a kid, I totally missed it. Like I would have been.
There's so much, exactly. There's so much because there are films now you watch. Like as much as I love all those movies, there are things I'm like, oh, they couldn't do that now. Like
Yeah,
there is
yeah.
so many things that they can't do now, and that's the hardest part. I think what we were recently talking about this. So, a Tropic Thunder is a perfect example of the movie.
Yeah,
Robert Downey Jr. What he did. Listen,
what he did, yes.
he's just an actor playing a role, playing a
Uh,
dude who doesn't know he's the dude. Uh, I
and it was,
think that is an amazing movie.
I think it was holding up a mirror to the industry doing it.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I'm a 40-year-old white guy in in an affluent area. So I can't really give my sentences on it sometimes because I'll get kicked off the internet. But yeah, I can sort of see why, but equally, I love hearing when other people go, "Oh, that was good. I enjoyed that. It had a relevance and it wasn't done in
Yeah,
a mean way."
it wasn't. It wasn't meant to be spiteful or mischievous in any type of way. I think it
Yeah,
was showing off a part of the industry that was doing stuff like that, and
yeah.
I think they did that even in Babylon. There, they clearly showed a lot of stuff in that was happening. So
Oh God, yeah. I mean, that
yeah,
was actually really interesting. The
that's what
scene
I thought they
with the
would have played a
trumpeter.
little bit more on that,
I
but they
thought there was going to
didn't.
more, and he just walked away. And I actually said I'd rather have more of that side of the scene with the trumpeter because they showed him and sitting on his chair going to sleep at the very beginning because he's had a long day. and his storyline just sort of fizzled
Fizzled
out.
out. It did
Yeah,
fizzle out.
yeah, I could have. I'd have enjoyed that. We're going to do this for the rest of the day if we're not careful. But do go check out Rob Squad reactions. I think you'll enjoy it. I
No,
think
definitely, I will do. I will do. So before I go, because I always do this with guests that come on here,
Ooh,
this is the part where you guys sell yourself. No, I'm joking. This is the part where to let the listeners and the people that are watching our beautiful faces on YouTube know where we can find you, and a bit of motivation for people that really want to start off something when it comes to content creation.
yeah. I mean, for me, I am on all platforms for your YouTubes, and
It'll be in the description, guys.
it's all down there. That's fantastic. It's all down there, and I'm No Man's Planet on everything, which is great.
Cool.
But I would say if you're going to do TikTok, big thing, do 3 videos a day. They don't have to be long. They don't have to be anything. They just need to be add something. If you're reacting to something, great. Don't just sit there and do that. Add to it. If you're gonna post your own original content, make sure you add a score to it that's relevant to it. So you find a video that's going viral. And the nerdy one I'm going to give you on this is if you go to your discovery button and you order it by most liked within the last month, that's the stuff that you're going to reuse, tweet, use yourself. So
Yeah, of course.
yeah, but yeah, for me, I do gaming and anything ADHD and weird stuff, and hopefully more and more movies, and hopefully more with this gent as well.
Awesome. That is awesome. Oh man, you got your first review to do as well, haven't you?
Yes, yeah, I had a look at it. It's a comedy horror movie that I've got to do this on. It's currently 7 stars on IMDb, so it's not terrible, but it's going to be an indie movie. It's called Mean Spirited, so comedy
Okay, cool.
horror. Yeah,
Awesome.
the
So
failed
I've
YouTuber's story.
awesome. That'd be interesting. I've got one where I can't see the screener because it's still in production. It's for like an anime. So they said, I think it was yesterday, I do need to respond back to them. They want to sort out time with the director and they want to be on the podcast and talk about their filming and stuff like that. But I was like, oh man, how can I relate it to the movie if I haven't seen the movie? They gave me a bunch of trailers to watch. It should be fun and interesting. As long as we can vibe, we'll start off amazingly. But the problem is there has been a few episodes where a person's wanted to be on the podcast, but then when they've come on, it's been very hard to get that vibe and that back and forth. And you know, like they'll have one word answers, and you're like, oh man, come on, bro, please.
I don't think you and I are going to have that problem. I had wanted to set up a VR interview series for so long because I can talk to
Okay.
anybody and everything, and I'm from the same background as you. I did sales. That's what I did.
Okay,
In my
cool,
life.
cool.
But I wanted to do it. This is always sitting out. I always have my VR headset ready to go, and I built a little universe, and I could bring in a Zoom chat like this with my avatar. We wouldn't even have to see my old mug. I could be anybody. I could be nondescript, and I could interview people, and I had people that are up for it and TikTokers that were up for it. But I just never did it. I ended up dancing around my kitchen instead, dancing with my dog. So
Some ideas just kind of sit on the shelves for a little bit, but I don't know. It's like I've had projects which I've never finished. I've got this Iron Man canvas I started at the beginning of COVID. It's been sitting there. I've sketched it out. It's got a bit of paint on it. Never
yep.
got to finish it. It's one of those things that I know I'm going to have one of my odd days and I'm going to go back to it and it will re-inspire me somehow again. And it will happen like that again. So I hope you get to do that because that sounds really cool. And I don't know why you're sitting on it. So if
I
you
don't
need
know.
somebody to help out, then I'm here. Just give me a shout.
I think we're going to start doing some work stuff together as well. Now I can feel it. I'll come up with some nice, pretty OBS overlays for you, and you can pull some stuff in and make those as zip
Come on,
zaps and
man.
stuff.
Let's get it started because, and I'm going to tell most of the listeners now. There's great opportunities that are coming this year, and I can't thank you guys enough for the support that you've shown the podcast and the content that we do because it's you guys that are listening, you guys are watching, you guys that are following. For me personally, it's always overwhelming and I don't know how to express it as much, but like I honestly, like I've lost a point already because you guys get me emotional. I genuinely get to do the stuff I love, and I'm going to be doing some stuff this year that I want to be able to help loads of creators that have wanted to start off and get into something, but interviewing, big cast members, I never thought in my life I would do. Last year I got to do directors, but this year I'm getting to do some talent, and it's because of you guys. It's you guys give me the numbers, and it does help. But like for me, as much as I hate saying numbers is a big thing in this industry, and it does play its part, but it's how you come across to some of these brands and stuff like that. Remember, try and you're not talking to somebody like a robot. They're human beings as well. You connect with them and opportunities will come your way. So that's my piece of the pie for today's podcast. I want to thank No Man's for coming on.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Have a wonderful day, dude.
Will do.